Okay, so I figured out what I want to do for my eyes, pretty much. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in with the Jaclyn Hill palette. Now, I got this palette a little while ago, and recently I have been using Blood Sugar, which I'm obsessed with. But the Jaclyn Hill palette, I feel, just has like a lot of everyday looks, and that's pretty much what I need. When I want to do a little bit of extra color, I'll add the Jeffree Star. A couple of other palettes I have that I love are, I got this in a BoxyCharm. This actually has different colors, but the basic colors, like the top pinks and the gold and the brown, they're just really good shadows. I have a really great Morphe. This is 9T, and it is a lot of neutrals. And I also have one of the Jaclyn Hill Vault collections. This is Armed and Gorgeous, which I also love. And I also recently got, one more I'll tell you, this Tarte palette, Be You Naturally, it's called. So it has a lot of naturals. Now, I love this Tarte palette, but I find it doesn't have a tremendous amount of pigment. So in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, I don't really have time to sit and, you know, do layer after layer after layer. So I've just been tending to use the Morphe and the Jaclyn Hill. And that's probably what I'm used today, both. I know I said that I'm doing a lot of product reviews, but I'm also going to add some tutorials because I love doing makeup, and I'm going to show you what I like to use and how it's used and what it looks like. So I never used to use eyeshadow primer ever. I used to do maybe a little concealer, that was it. I watched so many YouTube channels, Jaclyn Hill, Tati, Jeffree Star, Manny MUA, I watch them all, and I feel like that's how I became pretty decent at makeup. So I started out by using a little bit of concealer on my eyes. It works, but I also like the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, so that's what I'm going to go in with today. I'm just going to put it on my lid. I'm just going to put it on and then just rub it in. Now, the reason why I like this, using this versus concealer, is because sometimes concealer you have to set with powder, and sometimes I just don't have time for that. I just don't want to deal with it. Now, I know I didn't do a brow bone highlight because I'm going to do that literally right now, because I like to do that when I do my eyeshadow steps, because I do that first and then my transition color kind of blends it out. So what I do, I'm going to take the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going to take the colors in Light and Beam, and I'm going to just mix them together. And I'm going to go in today with a very tiny thin brush. Sometimes I use a thicker brush. This is the Eco Tools. It's like the double-headed brush. And I'll just go tap both of them, kick it off. Sometimes I use a thicker brush, but I recently watched a Tati video and she said the thinner brush, but I'm going to see how I like this. So I just go right under my lash line, right under my brow, just a little bit, just kind of striping it on. And I actually take it a little bit low, and I do like the flat side of the brush, because my first transition shade is going to blend it out. Like sometimes I'll use like it like this. Okay. Sometimes I'll make it darker, sometimes I'll leave it alone. Oh, and I forgot, I also might go in with this also, because when I use this, I feel like my eyeshadow always looks phenomenal. Ignore that my face is a different color than my neck. I'm usually tanner than this. So this is a Stila Magnificent Metals in Smoky Storm. I might use that. I haven't thought about it yet. Usually when I do my eyeshadow, I just like fly by the seat of my pants and I go wherever I want to go with shadows. So I usually keep a clean brush nearby, and the clean brush I usually keep is a Morphe M441, because it has a big like domey shape. And let me get the powder off that and make it clean. And I used one of these guys that cleans the brush. It worked. I had never believed in it, but it is amazing. Okay, so this is going to be my clean brush, and usually I do just use all Morphe brushes, but I love this brush and the one it came with, and it's by Real Techniques. It's the eye brushes, and I like using this one for the transition color because it's really fat and it really takes the shadow all over. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the color Silk Cream right here. Just gonna dab it on my brush lightly, tap it off, and I'm just gonna windshield wiper back and forth, and I'm going to take it high up. And then I usually like to get all over my eyelid because I find the darker colors build up better when you have a little layer there. Sorry, I don't want to get that in the shot. Back and forth, windshield wiper motions. And see, you could see how it's blending out the brow bone highlight, which is exactly what we wanted. So back and forth we go. Back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I blend until my hands are literally numb. Back and forth. Okay. I might actually do 2 looks, one on this eye, one on this eye. I haven't decided yet. But I usually do one eye at a time. Sometimes I switch it up. Like I said, makeup can be all different. Sometimes I do different, but you always need a transition shade. So I am going to go with this on this lid too. Back and forth, take a little more, kick it off, back and forth, back and forth. Now, I am a typical, like, neutral smoky eye kind of girl. I do pinks, I do blues, I do reds, I do it all, but I think what looks best on me and what I do best is a neutral smoky eye. So I might do the Stila on one eye and just a regular smoky eye on the other. I haven't decided. So for either, I did the Silk Cream on the top, and you can see it blended out that brow bone highlight. Okay, next I'm going to go in with a Morphe M535, which was in the Manny MUA collection, and this is just like a flatter brush. If I didn't start out with the Real Techniques brush, I would have started out with this one, which is the Morphe M533. It's just a little bit bigger than this one. But right now I'm going to use this one, the 535. All these numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with Pukey, which is this one, and a little bit of butter. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry. Pukey, which is this one, and a little bit of butter, which is this one, and I'm just gonna mix them both, just dot, 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 back and forth a few times, and then kick it off. And I'm just gonna go more in my crease. Now, I have hooded eyes like so many people, so I do my crease a little bit above, and I go back and forth, and I go in like this, out at like a straight angle. A little bit of both again. And I do more butter than Pukey because Pukey's a little bit darker. And I just go back and forth, and I try to hold my brush as far back as I can, so this way there's not a tremendous amount of color. You want it just light and blown out, which is the look I'm going for, light and blown out. And then sometimes I'll go back in with the first brush, go back into Silk Cream, and just go a little bit over it, up higher, just so it blends and you have 0 harsh lines. You know what, for the sake of my first video, I'm going to do both eyes the same. So in butter and Pukey, back and forth. Holding it farther back. Sometimes I'll do a little swirl on the end to get a little more color at the end, but we are going to be going in with a darker color there, so it's not essential in this eye look. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so now we have a little bit of that. So now what I'll do is I will take, my next color is going to go a little bit lower down in the lid and all over the eye. And now I'm going to take, I use either of these brushes. I either use a smaller Real Techniques or I use the Morphe M443 because it's just a little bit flat-ish. And then I'm going to go in with, give me a second to decide. I'm going to go in with SBN, which is this color right here. I'm just going to take, oh, sorry, this color right here. I'm sorry, this is a huge palette. This one right here. I'm so sorry. Okay, and I'm just going to go in my crease, like legit in the actual crease. And I go back and forth, and then I'm going to bring it a little bit lower down onto my lid also. Take a little bit more, sorry, of this one. hit it off and go back and forth, and bring it down onto the lid. So now you have a look like that. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. A little bit more. Sometimes I forget to do this with my brush. I mean, I hear it makes a difference, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know it's less dusty and everything. That's why sometimes when I do like a crazier eye look with a lot of glitter and stuff, I will do my eyes first and then I'll do my face. But today I just happened to do my face first because I was trying out the powders. And then I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm going to make my first YouTube video because I love makeup and I want to show everyone the products I use, how I do it, everything. Now, I'm not a professional by any means. I still have some trouble putting lashes on. You know, the glue sometimes gets all over my face. Sometimes I don't do things well, but I try to fix them and make them look good. Okay. After that whole spiel, and I'll tell you a little bit more about me when I do the next video, which is on my primers. So next I'm going to go in the 9T palette. It doesn't have names, but I'm going to go in with the center really dark color. Now there's a color like this in the Jaclyn Hill palette, but for some reason this tone is just a little bit more neutral and I like this color a little bit better. This I will definitely shake off, and now I'm going to go slightly in the outer crease and then make a V right here and go a little bit on my lid. So we're going slightly in the outer crease, V, down to my lower lid, to my lower lash line. And then I'll go a little bit back and forth right here. Not tremendous, just a little bit, like that. And then if you feel like it looks a little sloppy, which, you know, a little bit it does, I'll go back in with the color I used before, the SBN, and I'll just blend it a little bit. I try not to go all the way over and then all the way back because then it's going to blend that entire dark color. And then I take my clean brush and I'll blend from inside to out. And I don't do windshield wipers. I just go like this. Take it off, go back, off. This way I'm not blending that dark color to the inside. And then I'll kind of fix this up a little bit. Like that. I'll go in maybe a little bit with Silk Cream and just touch up over here a little bit. Okay, other eye. In with this, little bit into the crease and then down to the lash line. So you're essentially doing a V going up and then making that V and going down. But if you get it all over the lid, like in the middle of the V, it's totally fine. Sometimes I do it like that and I'll go all the way down. Sometimes I won't. Depends. Like that. And then I'm actually just going to make this easier. Take a little Silk Cream and go back above it. Even though we used another color right in the crease, this will blend it out. Like that. Sorry, I'm getting used to like how you guys can see me. Okay. Now, the inner corner doesn't really have much. You could totally leave it like this, throw on a pair of lashes, go out the door. I could and just go to work, but I am over the top when it comes to makeup. So I do a lot. So usually in the inner corner now, I'll go in with either this, which is a little much for me to wear to work. So I'll go in with like a very light glittery shade, either from the Jaclyn Hill palette or from this palette. You can really use whatever you want. And I tend to also just use my fingers. I'm going to go in with this. It's from Ace Beauty. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Ace Beauty. And I got this in the BoxyCharm. And it has the greatest colors. They blend like a dream. The colors are beautiful. I'm going to use the color Aruba right here, which is like this orangey, yellowy gold color. And usually I'll try it on a flat brush first, and it doesn't, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then I'll usually just end up using my fingers. But I'm going to try with a setting spray. I'm just using the Lancome Fix It and Forget It. You can really use literally anything. And I'll just spray the brush, get it a little wet first, do this, go into my color, pack it on the Aruba, I'll spritz it, and then I'll just pat it. No rubbing, just patting. And this actually is going on decently. You'll get more impact if you use your finger. That's why sometimes I'll do the brush and then I'll do the finger. Depends on my mood. Makeup, I find every day when I do my makeup is literally different, and I do something a little bit different every day. Like I do have essentially a normal makeup routine, but every day I do something a little bit different in my makeup routine. Just because for me, like I get up for work an extra hour and a half early just to sit on my makeup table and do my makeup. It's kind of my time to relax and just think about things, meditate in my head, which is just thinking about whatever I'm going to do that day, you know, what I'm going to do in school, whatever. And I literally wake up an hour and a half early just to play around. I usually it's like I'm playing around every day. It's fun for me. I love it. People are like, you're crazy for waking up early just to do your makeup, and I just love it. So that's what I do. That's me. I love it. So I'm just going to keep patting, pat, 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 pat. If you want it more intense, keep going. But for me, this is good. Now, on the other eye, I'm going to use my finger just to show you. So I'm not using setting spray or anything. I'm just going in with my finger. Now you do have a little bit of fallout, but it is much faster and a little bit more intense. So that's why I usually use my finger. I'm going to actually go over with my finger on this side. I love this eyeshadow palette. It was like just finding gold when they sent it to me. I thought I wasn't going to like it, and then I tried it and I was like, wow, I like this. So now I'm actually going to go back into the Morphe palette. You can either use the Morphe or the Jaclyn Hill. I just wanted a really, actually, scratch that. I'm going to go into the Morphe palette because I want a really dark brown and a little bit of black. Don't be scared. I know a lot of people don't like to use black, but I'm going to take the same brush that I used. And actually, no. I'm going to take this small, tiny pencil brush, which is the E36. And I'm going to go a little bit in the dark brown, which is Soda Pop, and a little bit into Abyss. So I'm going to do a little bit of Soda Pop and a little bit of Abyss. And then I'm just going to tap it into the V, into my crease, and then all along the side and the lash line. And then I'm going to take then I'm going to take the brush I used with the dark brown for the crease color, and I'm just going to blend it a little bit in the corner and on the sides, just to blend it out a little bit. Okay, and now I know it went up a little, totally fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with Silk Cream, and I'm just going to go over the crease a little bit. Now I don't go down a little bit because, like I said, I have hooded eyes, so when my eyes are fully open, as you can see, you see a little bit. I slightly hooded eyes, I'd say. Who knows? Who defines hooded eyes? So I go a little bit, not into the crease directly, a little bit above it, like where my orbital bone is, and I just go back and forth with the Silk Cream. So your eye should look like that. Now, if you don't like the dark black, use a dark brown. You could always go back in with that same color that we used before over here, the SBN. And I'll even take a little bit of a lighter color like butter or pukey like we used first sometimes, and I'll go over the black a little bit just to lighten it up a little bit. But I like the black. And then if I find I went over a little bit too much, like I like it to just be the very corner. See how I have a little too much black and I don't want that harsh line? I'm going to go in with a different color. You can use the same color that you used the Aruba. I'm going to go in this palette and I'm going to use a more coppery color. This isn't as creamy, but it'll work. And I'm just going to go with my finger over the line between the two. Like that. Like that. So now this side, to show you again, a little bit of the Abyss and Soda Pop into the crease a little bit, and then down in the V on the lash line. See, this one I didn't use a pencil brush. This one I'm showing you with the same brush that you used the dark brown, the, what color was it? What color did I use? Buns, I think did I use buns? Yes, no, sorry, scratch that. I used, this is so confusing how it's on the back. Chip, I used chip, I think. Or maybe I used, no, I'm sorry. Mind fart. I used something in here. I used this. So the same, I didn't mean to do that. The same color I use this brush for, I'll go in with the Soda Pop and the Abyss, and I'll just do that. And now I'm touching so lightly because this is a bigger brush. That's why I sometimes like to use a pencil brush. And I'll just go back and forth in the crease a little bit just to blend that out. And then I'll go down. Now see how this got it a little high, which I don't love. So I'm going to take this brush, go into Silk Cream, and just go over that a little bit and just blend it. And now I'm not blending from this way to this way, I'm just blending it right here. And you could also take your clean brush and do that too. Just a little swirl, a little movement, so it'll get you like that. This brush went a little bit higher, which I'm okay with. I'm fine with that because it still looks good. So now I'm going to take that copper color and I'm going to go in between the lines like that. Okay, I know this video is getting a little bit long, so now I'm going to just quickly do the lower lash line. Now, to do the lower lash line, I'm going to take the Morphe M165, which is a slanted thin brush, and I'm going to go in with, first I'm going to do a dark, I'm going to use this color again, this brown. I'm just going to tap it in there, and I'm going to go right under my lash line. And I'm not going all the way in, I'm just going to the middle. See right there? Do the same thing on the other side. Just to the middle. And then I'm going to take a smaller brush. So now I'm going to use this brush. And I'm going to go into Silk Cream and a little bit of butter. And I'm just going to blend that out. I'm going to blow out the lower lash line. A little bit of Silk Cream, a little bit of butter, and then blow out the lower lash line. And you want to make sure they connect. That is super important. It connects. And now you're going to obviously blend out that dark color, but that's what you want. And if that's not dark enough for you, go into just a lighter brown, like not the dark brown that we used here, and not butter or the lighter colors we used here. I'm gonna go in with like, because I like a little bit darker, I'm gonna go in with, what is this? With Buns, which is funny because that's almost my last name. And I'm just gonna do a little bit more. There we go. And we're just gonna connect it in the corner. And sometimes I take it a little bit up just so make everything look cohesive. Okay. And that's pretty much the eyes. Then you can really use any eyeliner you want. Sometimes I like a white. With this, I'm gonna go in with a nude because I like that. I don't want to make it so dark and dramatic because I don't want to be scary. I'm going to go in with the Tarte Fake Awake, and I'm just going to do my lower lash line. Like that. And then mascara, eyeliner, and lashes I'm going to do in the next part. So I'll see you soon.